Do you ever feel angry, frustrated, sad, don't know what to do? Of course you do. Everybody feels that way from time to time. I'm Adam from Dirty Roots Berlin, and this is the 4th week of our Artist's Way weekly review series, and I've got to say this has been one of the hardest weeks of my whole life. It was a very difficult week, not really because of the Artist's Way, but I'm very glad that I was doing the Artist's Way throughout this week because it was something that at least gave me a little bit of grounding in what has been otherwise a very tumultuous week. So let's get into it. So this week was all about creating space for yourself as an artist, which is something I personally am not very good at. I don't tend to take a lot of space for myself, and when I do, I don't tend to utilize that time particularly productively. One of the big things that was going on this week is it was what she called a no-read week. In other words, no reading. But that, of course, was written in the 1990s, and she was also talking about no movies or things with other people's words in them, and that clearly would also extend to social media or audiobooks and magazines. So I was traveling for part of this week and couldn't read on the plane or watch a movie. And it was a very interesting experience to not have something to distract me, which caused a lot of, I would say, feelings that I didn't necessarily recognize that I had to come to the surface. And I think that was probably a large part of the point. I think she says it's really because reading other people's words numbs you to your own voice. And I think once I stopped numbing my own voice, it got very loud very quickly. So if you don't know what we're doing, this is the Artist's Way weekly review. The Artist's Way is a book written by Julia Cameron. It came out in the 90s that helps stuck creatives get unblocked. And at the end of each week, there's a review that you go through to kind of see about your progress, see how things have gone. This is the 4th week that we've been doing this. This was the first week where I did my tasks almost immediately. I did them almost after recording last week's video, and then I basically had the rest of the week to, I thought, just chill and enjoy my trip, and that was definitely not what ended up happening. Every week there are, you've got to do what are called morning pages, and in the morning pages are 3 pages handwritten, sort of first thing in the morning when you wake up. I usually make myself a cup of tea before, but then I start into the morning pages and I write those 3. And I did all 3 pages every single day this week again, which was great. There were maybe some days I really didn't want to do it, but I think she even says in there this week, like, a lot of people tend to think about it. They say, I'm crabby, so I'm not going to do my morning pages. But in reality, it maybe is you're crabby because you didn't do your morning pages. So I was like, I'm going to force myself to stick through this, and I'm glad I did. One thing I've really noticed is that writing my thoughts down, particularly first thing in the morning, is very beneficial for helping me solidify some ideas, as well as weed out the ideas and thoughts that are clearly not true and just bad exaggerations coming out of emotional hurt. And so I did the morning pages, even though I was really struggling for a lot of this week. And it did very much help. I can't imagine what this week would have been like without it. And so the other task that you're supposed to do every week is what's called an artist date. This week I was like, well, I'm gonna go out climbing. There's 2 spots around me where there's sort of boulders in some parks where I can climb, and with, climbing hooks and stuff, but also like really cool spaces you can do without the holds. And so I walked around for a bit before, for about 45 minutes before I went to go climb. And when I went to the first spot, which was near me, which is the better of the 2, it was just jam-packed. There was tons of people there, tons of kids everywhere, all climbing all over it. Normally, if there's some people, I don't really mind, but it was so packed, it just didn't make any sense. I would be in the way of all of these kids. And I know that there's another sort of smaller place not too far away. So I kept walking for a bit, and then I ended up at this other place, and I was climbing, and I didn't do it for that long. I probably only did it for about a half an hour. But by that point, it had been such a long week. I guess this was yesterday. It had been such a long week. I was so exhausted. I am starting to realize how much, while I often have a lot of time for myself, I don't utilize that time in a way that is beneficial for myself. And now that I don't have time for myself, I'm realizing how good I have to be to myself when I do have the time. So I think I might have a little bit of time coming up to myself. It might be difficult though to take care, but I'm gonna do what I can to make some space for myself and my artist and just get lost. So we'll see how that goes, but yeah. Okay, so before the tasks this week, there were some sort of exercises that you're supposed to just go through really quickly and write down. So the first was to list 5 hobbies that sounded fun. I listed martial arts, ice skating, roller coaster tester, ape trainer. I don't know, ape trainer, that sounds like fun. I don't know that that's a hobby, and a masseuse. So you're not supposed to think about them. These are the things that came out of my head. 5 classes, nude drawing, singing, blues guitar, bouldering. 5 things I would never do that sound fun. Bull riding, space travel, skydiving, bungee jumping, and motocross. They all sound fun, but I don't think I'm gonna end up doing any of them. So the next was to list 5 skills that would be fun to have, and what did I put down? Being able to play blues guitar, double sword play, so in other words, like, sword fighting with a friend. I think that'd be cool. Again, I got that thing, and I think that'll be kind of cool to play around with somebody else once I got some time. Tai Chi, I do enjoy Tai Chi, so I think that'll be kind of fun. And being a master at chess. I love playing chess. I just really shit at it, but I still have a lot of fun. So I think it'd be really cool to be a master and be able to think about it much more deeply than I'm able. Oh yeah, and then also wild calisthenics. So just being able to do some really cool body weight stuff on pull-up bars, and I think is always kind of fun. I've been working up towards that. So the next was to list 5 things you used to enjoy doing. I had running long distance. I used to run, I don't know, sometimes 15, 20 miles at a time. Playing with Legos. I used to play with Legos a lot. That was really fun. I do have some Legos here. It's something I kind of miss from my childhood. Baking was also on the list. I used to bake a lot. I do enjoy baking. I just haven't really gotten into it for a while. So yeah, baking is definitely one of them. Going to the gym. I actually really liked going to the gym. The biggest problem for me is that the closest gym to me is about 30 minutes away, and it was kind of gross. It was not a nice gym. The showers rarely worked. The equipment was old. It was just a disgusting gym. And then the next closest gym was maybe about 40, 45 minutes away. And that's a long way to go to the gym when I'm, I don't know, I stopped going. So I canceled my subscription because it was just too much effort to actually go. Now I do exercise here at home. There's some parks here that have some sort of gym equipment, not gym equipment, but but there's some parks here that have some gym equipment like monkey bars and, bars I can do pull-ups from and dips and things like that. So I just wasn't going to the gym. Although I like going to the gym. I like working out at the gym. I don't know. There's something fun about it, having the machines, being able to just kind of get in my zone and go hard is, because I was paying for it. I felt like, okay, I could do this. Whereas at a park, it's a little bit more, I don't know, I feel more on display because there's kids playing soccer, but it feels a bit weirder. It's not as fun. I like being at the gym, but it's just not convenient where I live. And then building forts in the woods. I used to build a lot of forts in the woods as a kid. It's definitely a lot of fun then. I do enjoy spending time in woods and in the forests. I haven't built a fort in a really, really long time, but I do enjoy it and I kind of miss it. So the next thing is to list 5 silly things that we would like to try once. Paintball. I think it'd be really cool to go paintballing. I've never done it, but I think it could be fun. I would love to be a nude model for painting. I think that would also be kind of cool, at least give it a try. So I said skydiving, which I had also written on the one thing I would never do. First off, I didn't know she was going to ask later, a silly thing we might try once. But I came out both times. I wasn't thinking, I was all writing these really, really quickly. So skydiving was on both. So I guess that was it. And then you're supposed to say, did you try? I didn't try any of them this week. Again, it's been one hell of a week. Well, I did boulder. I did go bouldering, so I guess I did try one of them. I've been doing it a bit anyway, but hey. The next pre-task exercise was to list 5 silly things you would do once. So I wrote down, I went paintballing. I've never been paintballing, but it seems like that could be a lot of fun. I was shot in the back with a paintball gun for a movie once. That was not fun, but I think the actual experience of going paintballing and maybe able to fire back at the person who shot me would make it a lot more enjoyable. So that would be one. Next, to be a model for nude painting. I think I would at least try it once. I think it could be kind of a fun experience. So something I've thought about doing, but have never done yet. Go skydiving. So this was on the list of things I would never do that sound fun, and I guess the silly things I would do once. So I think it was on both lists. One, because I wasn't thinking, I was just writing as quickly as possible. And 2, I didn't know she was gonna ask something we might try once. And I figure I always would try skydiving once, but I don't think it's something I'd really be into doing. So it ended up on both lists. Freediving. I think that would be really cool. Although I don't think freediving is something you can really just do once, because it takes probably so much practice to get up to even really starting into freediving that probably not like a silly thing to do once, but it's what came out of my head. Particularly odd since I'm not a very strong swimmer. And obstacle races. I think obstacle races would be a lot of fun. Kind of like, I don't know, just be fun to kind of try it, see what it's like. Could be nasty and uncomfortable, but who knows? I'd like to push myself from time to time. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the actual exercises, and I did the writing part of all of the exercises, but I'm realizing now as I'm going through this that you're supposed to like pull up some pictures and put some stuff together, which I haven't done that part yet, but maybe I'll do that after this video. So let's get into it. The first task was to describe your ideal environment. And I don't remember exactly what I wrote down, but I can tell you what I'm feeling right now. I really don't tend to enjoy the same environment all the time, which is true. I do like a varied environment, and I would like it to be a little cozy right now. That would be the nice variation. So, yeah, but I guess having a varied environment is definitely something that I am drawn more towards. Having anything specifically for too long always tends to get boring, and I get a little bit antsy and want to move on and see something else. I also put down that I don't like it too loud, which is true. I don't tend to like a really loud environment. I like it more calm most of the time. I don't like large groups of people. Smaller groups is always nice for me. And someplace where dogs and cats are allowed, because I like having animals around. Somewhere in nature, probably, and someplace warm. I really like being warm. I like being warm a lot. I hate being cold. It's one of the worst pains. It's very, yeah, I don't like being cold. So, yeah, somewhere out in nature, by water would be great. But I don't need a lot of water. They ask what your favorite season is, and summer is by far my favorite season. Why? Because it's hot. Because I really like when it's sunny and hot. Not just warm and pleasant, I mean hot. 40 degrees, 100 degrees, whatever system you're on. I really like a very warm, very hot kind of temperature. To me, that's just the most fun. I was born in the summer, and I think it reminds me of not being in school. I hated school. So it was like the best time of the year the only 3 months of the year that were not super painful. School was for me, up until I was a sophomore in high school and I moved to Topeka, school was a very, very tough experience for me. And so summers were sort of the only safe time I had. I think it was the only time I could really just feel okay. So I think that's largely why I really like the heat. There's something about the cold that just, I don't know, it really gets to me. So, and then she says to pick out maybe an image that reflects our favorite environment and put it up in our workspace. I have not done that yet. And to also find an image that evokes that feeling of our favorite season. So hopefully after this video, I will go do that and maybe start building a little thing here up on the wall. So that was as far as I had gotten on day one. But I had to, so I started finishing them the next day. The next task was to write a letter from my 80-year-old self to me now. And this is what I wrote. It's been a long and beautiful life. I've enjoyed it, particularly after 50. I really opened up. I started swimming in our beautiful pool, and my cactus collection is prized in the world for both beauty and potency. I was surprised by how much I love the birds in the greenhouse. Being able to live in such a wonderful place and yet be so connected is amazing. Loved ones nearby, things to do, and places to just be. I know you can't see it yet, but it all works out so perfectly. You are lucky after all. You're doing great work. You were so close to getting to that next level. I mean, you really are already starting, but you don't know and you don't feel it. But feel it. Don't be afraid of what you will lose. Be afraid because you lose when you let fear win. You got this. So the next task was to write a letter from my 8-year-old self to my current self. So this one was a bit shorter, but I said, hey, I hope you are good. I hope you still have fun, and I definitely play with Legos. I hope you have a cool house with video games and stuff and are still into frogs. They are cool. Snakes too. So then the next task was to find a space and rearrange it so you could just have like a little creative space just for yourself. I haven't done that because I actually was doing the tasks while I was on the plane and I kind of forgot about that. So maybe I'll do that after I do this video as well and I can show that to you guys, but I haven't yet given myself a space just for myself. I have a productive space back here, but it's not supposed to be a productive space, it's supposed to be a creative space. So I'm not sure where I'm gonna do that, but yeah, I'll figure that out. So after that, you're supposed to do what's called the life pie check. And we did one of these earlier in The Artist's Way. I showed it last time, this is it here. You can kind of get an idea. I'm not gonna show you exactly what my personal stuff is, but there's the life pie thing. And you rate basically your friends, your romance and adventure, your play, work, spirituality, exercise. Yeah, and so you draw a circle. So I did another one here. You draw a big circle and then you put a dot in the circle where you would rate your life in that moment. And I did this last Thursday, I guess, on the airplane. I rated my spirituality up as a 10 because I have no problem with my personal view on the universe, but the rest of the stuff is definitely better than it had been. It was definitely much more improved, though if I were to do this again today, it would not look like this. So there definitely was definitely a change from when I drew this throughout the week. It definitely, I wasn't feeling terrible, but I wasn't feeling awful. I was feeling okay. Now it's not so great. So definitely, an interesting thing to notice that it actually can change in an instant. Which areas feel stronger? I mean, as of today, if I'm looking at it now, I wouldn't say much feels stronger, to be honest. Maybe friends. Friends probably feels a bit stronger, but which areas are depleted? My romance adventure area is pretty depleted right now. My work is pretty depleted right now. Work was very defeating over this last few weeks. Yeah, fun or play. Definitely haven't had a lot of time for that. Feels very depleted. So What else? Okay. So the next task is to write an artist prayer. Funny. So, and then you're supposed to read it every day. Of course, I forgot to read it every day, but I've been reading it. This is now maybe the 5th or 6th time that I've read it. So I pray that my life be led by opening to the curiosity, that money and wealth flow to me, and that I enjoy my life to the fullest. I feel like I hope that's what's happening, because it doesn't feel like it right now. Can't really say what it brought up for me. It definitely was, how do I want to say? It was helpful in some moments and sort of a slap in the face at others. So, but I guess that's part of this whole creative process. I mean, one of the things that I'm going through is I'm learning to get more in touch with myself. I think for many, many years, I kind of numbed myself to my own feelings and pain and desires and interests, and I put those to the side because I felt like people didn't like me when I put those things first, and I really want people to like me because I don't know, I struggled a lot as a kid with being liked, and I think that that definitely played out in that. So I don't know where I was going with that, but so there's a prayer in the book, which is, above all, God is a source. No human can deflect our good or create it. We are all conduits for a higher self that would work through us. We are all equally connected to a spiritual source. We do not always know which among us will teach us best. We are all meant to cherish and serve one another. The artist way is tribal. The spirit of service yields us our dharma, that right path we dream of following in our best and most fulfilled moments of faith. So the next task was to sort of plan an extended artist date and what I would do. I thought I'd go to the park and sort of do climbing for, an hour, and then swing around the Boken for an hour, and go for a nice long walk, eventually find my way to the movie theater and take myself to the movies, and then go out to dinner and just spend some time with myself. But maybe I'll do that sometime soon. We'll see. So the next task was to do what's called a closet cleanse and choose an outfit and that have low self-worth and get rid of it. I was out of town when I was doing this, so I started doing that one this morning, and I chose a pair of pants that I don't wear and some socks. I couldn't really find a shirt yet. I accidentally left a shirt where I was, and that shirt probably would have been perfect, so maybe I did it for me. But yeah, so I don't really have shoes that I can get rid of. I don't have enough. Maybe I do. I'd have to look. So I've put it aside to get rid of this low self-worth outfit. So the next task was to talk about an area where we feel stuck. And I don't remember what I wrote down. I'm going to look it up, but it definitely probably will be different now than what I wrote down at the beginning of the week. Let's see if we can find it. I don't have that, I guess. I didn't write that down. I must have missed that task. Or maybe I wasn't feeling stuck. But I would say I feel stuck, not creatively. I feel stuck in the business. I don't know. I don't know where things are going. If I want to be honest, it's I've got some really cool ideas, and I think the things that are coming up could be really fun. I just don't know if I have it in me, and I also don't know. I don't know if anybody cares. I don't know if doesn't seem like there's enough business. I'm having to spend a lot of time on the side trying to just make money to be able to cover the expenses. This used to be a profitable business, and right now it's a lot of time and a lot of very little sleep and not a lot of energy. And so, yeah, I feel really stuck. I was really kind of hoping that this would help I hope that this is like the breaking point, because I don't know if it can get worse than this. So the last thing, which I talked about earlier, which was this reading deprivation, where you're supposed to go the whole week without reading. And I did a really, really good job up until, I would say, maybe about 20 minutes ago. I'm in the middle of recording this, but I've had to stop a few times, and I couldn't come back. I had to take a moment to just relax, and I started looking at TikTok and saw a TikTok about the Diddy trial, and I started looking up the thing about the Diddy trial just to distract myself from the shit that's going on in my life. So I didn't quite succeed. I definitely failed. The week isn't over until I finish this video, so. But I did pretty damn well, I would say. All things considered, I did fucking amazing. So yeah, that was it. That's this week. There's usually a series of questions at the end of each week, so let's go through those. So we'll talk about a moment this week that felt creatively honest or exciting. I can show you, actually. I have been working on creating display rocks for our sphere planters, but I drill holes and then sort of grinding and sanding the holes down so that the spheres will sit on it. This is one that I'm working on at the moment, but it was really nice and I liked it, and I realized it was a little unstable. If I put a big sphere on here, if I make it enough for a big sphere to fit, it will be a bit unstable in the back. And so I got some glue, and I've started gluing on the rocks and then hiding that with some dust so that I'll eventually be able to make sort of a leg. It takes a little while for this kind of glue to dry, but that'll make things more stable, and I'll be able to create cooler displays and cooler designs. So that's one area where at least it felt honest and exciting. I found some stuff. So I like to find building materials from the city to display these rocks, because the spheres themselves are built from the concrete, which is, what much of the city is made out of. So I found this. This is kind of cool looking. It's not exactly cement. It's very light, which is cool. So I think I'll probably make something out of that. I don't know if I'll stand it up like this, but I like the lines here, because the lines here will make it very structural and not natural, and I think that'll contrast nicely with the spheres. So I'll have to see, maybe I'll make it nice with the dark sphere, light sphere, doesn't matter, but theoretically once they're done, they'll be on the website, and you can sort of buy them for the spheres. So that's it. Something I noticed shifting in how I work. No, this was such a weird, terrible week. I can't really say that I noticed anything shifting about how I work. So challenges, one frustration from the business side. I already talked about just the fact that it's been rough. We put out the Cassiopeia collection, and I know the social media content wasn't great for that, but I didn't have, so yeah. I know it wasn't great, the social media content, but I didn't have time to really make the stuff. And so it suffered. And so, of course, the sales were very poor. It just started. We're midway. We're 2 days into it after launching it. But even still, the excitement wasn't there beforehand. This is our first sort of product launch like this. So in one sense, maybe I was expecting too much, particularly having never done it before. But yeah, it was a lot. And to not really see the results has been very frustrating. One personal resistance moment to any exercise. The biggest one I feel right now is the resistance to creating a space for myself. I don't know where to do it. I wouldn't know how to do it, and I don't know what that would even look like. In many ways, the business is not really that creative at the moment, although I have a lot of cool ideas and things that I want to create. I don't know what kind of space I can make for me here to have something, but I guess I will do that after this, because it is the one that I'm the most resistant to doing. Some part of me feels like I don't deserve it. Not to say I don't deserve my own space. I do, but there's not really, the things that I would want to create take up so much space. I don't think that there's a good spot, but I also haven't really bothered to look, and it sounds like I'm making excuses rather than trying to come up with solutions. So I can find something. I'll figure it out. So I guess after this, I'll do that. But that has been my biggest resistance, is to find a space for myself. I had never really carved out a whole lot of space for myself. Just not something I've been one to do. But I want to say thank you guys for watching. This is definitely a rough one. Hopefully next week I'll have a smile back on my face, and we'll see. But the truth is, the whole point was to keep me honest. And I went back and forth between whether I should record this at all, or if I should wait, settle down. I decided to record it anyway, because the whole point is to be honest and put myself out there. And if I'm not doing this on camera, I would have half-assed it today for sure. I definitely would have, if I would have done the review at all, I would have just really phoned it in. So even if nobody else, even if you guys aren't watching it, it's very helpful for me. But even still, if you do find this interesting or entertaining, want to see where this goes, we're only on week 4 of 12. So, you know, let's see what happens. But thank you. Please remember to subscribe if you did like it, and give us a comment. Tell me I'm losing my mind, or this is really dumb, or whatever. I don't care. I'd love to hear it. So thank you guys. See you all in the next one.